All right, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, and we are finally here for bolt action. We've got the big bad boy here, the Island Assault box, basically the new starter set for bolt action. So, of course, the traditional one is still fine, but this is finally an update here, and again, focuses on the Pacific. So, interesting to see what Warlord has done with it, and kind of coincides with a lot of the more recent releases as well. So, basically, we have U.S. Marines and Japanese, as you might expect from that. And let's flip this bad boy over so we can see what we get here. So again, Warlord is always really good about creating just wonderful two-player starter sets, whether it's these bigger ones, something as massive as the recent Civil War in epic scale, or smaller box sets for things like SPQR and so on. Or Blood Red Skies. Again, Warlord just generally knocks it out of the park on these. So let's see if we got another winner on our hands here. So, contains the bolt action second ed rulebook in the nice smaller format. So, if you don't have one of those yet, if you haven't picked up one of the two-player box sets, or have found another way to get that book, really recommend it. It's much easier to travel around with in your army bag. But we get 24 U.S. Marines and 24 Japanese infantry, so nice to finally also see a starter set that kind of evens out the infantry. The regular one, the previous one for the European theater, I think it was one German squad and a half track versus 20 Americans, so doesn't always become a fair fight there. But this is nice. So equal number of infantry, so it makes for some interesting starter scenarios and stuff here. Now on the U.S. side, they gave us a M3 half track, which again, overall pretty cool choice. Definitely lots of machine gun firepower there, and certainly will very quickly mow down opposition here as an opposing infantry. The Japanese side, I think, got the better end of the deal here, though. Not that the Japanese tanks, again, were historically great in World War II, but I feel like overall they get the better model here. So a Type 97 Chiha medium tank, which has a couple options as my printer decides to make noise in the background for no reason. So again, overall, I think Japanese get a little bit better deal there. Just to, even if it's not a great tank, it nonetheless it is a tank. So very easily, despite the weaker gun on one of the variants, really should still very easily deal with a half track if it does indeed connect. So that being said, I think the 50 cal on the half track, I think, is capable of punching the Japanese tank. But anyway, we'll get into all that stuff later. So here's listed as a medium tank, but really, realistically, it was a light tank. The cooler bits here, though, resin Japanese pillbox, and then 2 resin Japanese spider holes. So I love that. So again, just a great part of adding to the flavor of these Pacific Island campaigns and battles. Really is the terrain is often as much or as more a factor than some of the more traditional battlefields that we typically tend to play for bolt action. So glad they included that, and again, enough to get you started. The Island Assault booklet, which is really well done. We already taken a peek at that. A quick reference sheet, again, always a good idea. Some assembly leaflets, plastic templates, again, starting off here, so you get the damage markers and then some things you can use as pins and so on and so forth. 2 rulers, or 10 6-sided dice, and then 12 order dice, so basically enough to run various versions of the contents of the box here. So that is everything we get here. Again, it's a pretty hefty box as far as the starters go in, and pretty hefty as well, so definitely got some weight to it. So we're going to get this open for you guys, sorted out as usual, and then we'll take a look at everything inside. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back. There is a ton of stuff here, so let's kind of work in reverse from the order that it was in the box. So we get a sheet for Japanese flags here, so really cool stuff there. The typical working with Warlord resin sheet. I'm not going to spend really any time on that. We'll come back to this here in just a moment. So assembly guide for the U.S. Marines, nothing that we haven't really seen before, but always nice to have everything labeled so you can figure out which hands and stuff go with which bodies and so on and so forth, weapon arms, all that fun stuff. So good guide for the Marines here, and some of the typical loadouts and stuff like that. So, and of course we'll have the same thing for the Japanese here. So again, lots and lots of bits here. These are always fun too. The lunge landmines. So landmine on a stick. Cool stuff. Assembly guide for the half track, and these not too bad to assemble, although at least the last time I did one was kind of a pain in the butt, but eventually workable. So anyway, some options and stuff there. So, but overall fun kit. And then one of the newer sort of assembly booklets and stuff for the Chiha here, the medium tank. So a little bit on the history here, stats, real life stats, things like that. So again, two different variants, the 57 or the 47, decals, assembly guide, all kinds of stuff here. And then finally some actual color schemes that you can go with. Oops. There we go. And a little bit more on the back as well. So again, kind of nice 3-color scheme there. Really cool looking. So that is a chunk of the paperwork. We're going to come back to the stack cards and stuff a little bit later. Some of the other sort of nuts and bolts things here again are our sprue here of templates and tokens. Lots and lots of bases. So again, quite a few there. But that covers everything. Any of the prone models or anything like that you want to field. And more than enough. Warlord generally includes some extras. So then some of the fancy pin tokens. So always nice, very easily to visually reference those on the tabletop. Then, before we get into the infantry, actually, let's do the infantry first. So again, basically Japanese infantry, U.S. infantry with an extra sprue here for some of the U.S. weapons. So again, your basic Marine sprues and everything. So, to show here, and again, let's get one here in detail. Actually, we'll get the rest out of the way here so it's not in the background. So overall, again, really good stuff. More than enough to really customize to whatever you want to field for the Marines. Only gripe here, just from having looked through the sprues, for whatever reason, the Marine ones, not so much on the Japanese, but as you can kind of see in the shot here, hopefully, the mold lines, for whatever reason, are just really bad on this kit. So if anybody else has experienced that, whether from this box set or just the regular U.S. Marine box set, let us know in the comments, because that is really looking like a royal pain to have to spend a few minutes on like literally every single one of these to remove flash. But overall, again, we get our 20 U.S. Marines there. On the Japanese side, again, did not seem to be as bad. Let's get another look here. So overall, not nearly as bad. But anyway, so our Japanese sprue here. So again, lots of extra goodies here. So we got a trumpet there, got our light machine guns, sword, scabbard arm, looks like grenade arm, all kinds of different heads and everything as usual. So lots of goodies here. So more light machine guns, so all kinds of good stuff. There's the landmine on a stick, I think, arm as well, or that could be a banner. So again, really cool stuff here. So again, we got our 20 infantry here. Then coming in real quick, so these are our resin bits here, and a really awesome inclusion here from Warlord. Wish that they would make more of this kind of stuff. So it was nice about a year ago when they came out with the scatter terrain for the battlefield, but yeah, this is just fantastic whenever we get goodies like this. So these are the 2 spider holes. I like this one in particular because, as you can kind of see here, get that into focus, there is a machine gun poking out there. So that can be really fun for scenarios. And then the pillbox, again, really good stuff here. Some kind of jungle theme there, a little bit of detail work and all that will really make this a nice little standout on the battlefield. But again, would love to have more of this stuff if Warlord is listening. Other plastic bits here. So again, we got our half-track assembly, basically 2 sprues. So I think we've done a unboxing on that separately before as well, but again, not too bad on the assembly. Just gotta be careful with your assembly process there. Make sure everything fits. Now, the nicer of the two kits, again, I think overall, just because it is a tank, even if it's not a great tank, is the Chiha here. So again, two rather oversized sprues for this thing. So again, kind of show you guys both ends here. So that is sprue number 1, and then sprue 2 here with track assembly, parts of the hull and all that stuff. So, and again, this is an actual Warlord kit, not an Italieri one. So good stuff there. So again, all plastic on that. All right, then a couple other nuts and bolts things. This was in a separate baggie. I'm not sure why. Maybe they forgot to properly pack this one. I don't know why it couldn't have just been done correctly, but regardless, anyway, 2 bags, dice. We all know about those. The typical smoke and damage marker set that they give us. And then let's talk about the Island Assault set. Actually, let's get one other thing out of the way first here. So again, the small format rulebook, love this thing, so I think much better than lugging around the hardcover. Only minor gripe, this had some damage and some creasing, as you can kind of see there. And same thing at the top here, kind of peeling back. So this was basically placed right at the top of the box, so I'm not sure where else they would put it, because otherwise it'd be right in the middle of all the sprues and everything, but maybe some sort of like upper layer of like either bubble wrap or something to protect the book a little bit. So, but anyway, awesome that that's included. Anytime a starter box includes a full set of the rules, that's always good. So again, starter box really, I think, also needs to be differentiated between starter box and beginner box. So this is a full-on start to the game as opposed to a beginner box, which really doesn't exist for the game, but would I think certainly be much smaller and maybe have like some sort of quick start rules. But anyway, this is again our Island Assault booklet, and love what they've done here. So again, a little bit of history on the war in the Pacific. So starting off with Guadalcanal, for example, Iwo Jima, Okinawa, famous battles. Guide on assembling your forces and their suggestion for building the infantry. For the Japanese, a little bit on the tank, the pillboxes and spider holes, and suggestions on how to build it for your basic games here. And then a similar process for the US, and then some painting guides here. Love that they include Vallejo and Army Painter. Oops, page does not want to turn. And then basically preparing for your first battle and really kind of holding your hand. Let me get that in focus. Holding your hand here for your first few games. Shameless plug on their mug as a dice cup for your order dice. So good stuff all around here. Love that they're labeling things and some very simple games here. So order of play, walking you through it, even essentially taking it turn by turn and what's going on here. So and then gradually throwing in some rules for you. So again, walking you through the turns here. Pretty simple game, just a couple of infantry squads, and then a little bit more advanced with the 2 vehicles involved. But again, very basic vehicles. So, and again, some really cool artwork to go along with it here. And again, the photos, they've done a good job of the way they're incorporated here. Nice paint jobs and everything. That being said, the table they chose, I know why they kind of kept it basic and not really any other terrain here, just to make it simple. But I feel like maybe a missed opportunity there just to include maybe a little bit of other jungle terrain, maybe some stands of trees or something like that. But again, can't really fault them too much on that. But maybe at the end here, at least show a nice example of like a full-on jungle board. I think that is a missed opportunity there. And then at the end here, a play sheet, which is really cool. So definitely something to keep the way you want. Honestly, what I would do and what I will be doing, make a photocopy of it and then laminate that. I'm not gonna tear the book apart and just to get that last sheet and like cut it out or something. But no reason you can't copy that and get it laminated so that you have your reference sheet and then not really worry about it getting damaged or anything. So really love that they've done that for the set. One other thing, kind of a side component here. So Warlord loves doing this for their larger boxes. This kind of top insert here, which again has that summary play sheet, which is really cool because you can essentially get two right out of the box. But they also use this kind of as like a packing organizer because it just kind of keeps all the other components from moving around, and it does serve its purpose. And this is where they give you those two rulers that they had mentioned on the back. But honestly, would have just been nice to maybe. I guess it's good if you have nothing else, but really, I mean, if you're getting into wargaming, you probably know that you're going to need a measuring stick of some kind, and so a typical measuring device that your friendly hobby store will probably have for you, or you can go and most likely get a cheaper one at a hardware store or something like that. So, not a big complaint, but I don't know. I don't really know of anybody who's going to go and cut those out either. That being said, because this thing is often just a little bit annoying once it's out. Bit of a missed opportunity here where I think they could maybe save some space in the box or maybe just do something a little bit different. So instead of leaving these blank, do something like Corvus Belli does with a lot of their Infinity products where basically every part of the packaging finds a use somewhere. So like here they could have put like color tokens of various kinds or something like that. So make them pin tokens, victory point, or not victory point. Well, maybe yes, count victory points, but like objective tokens or something like that. And you could make them more thematic, like U.S. ones and then Japanese ones on the other side. Easy add, which really wouldn't cost anything extra, and then you actually get something out of this. Otherwise, really, you're gonna if you want to use the play sheet and not have this be annoying to lug around, you're going to cut all four sides off anyway, and then have another summary sheet. So some ideas there. Last little bit to look at. Again, we get some stat cards, always nice. And they were nice enough to include decals too. So let's get all this out. Come on, America. So let's organize this stuff right side up here. So again, Japanese decals. Oops, America is upside down. How about that? There we go. So lots of good stuff there. And I was about to say, where is the half track? So, oops, I guess we got two Japanese tanks. This is just stuck together. So U.S. half track, mid-late war, inexperienced, 79, 99, and then 119 if you go veteran. So transport, up to 12 men, damage 7, tracked, open topped, of course. So basically you can tow more or less everything, except the heavy howitzers and stuff like that. Options here, up to 3 extra pintle-mounted MMGs. So really, if you go all in, you can definitely be packing 4 machine guns here, but a lot of points for something that's rather flimsy. So medium machine guns, we know what those do, and then the heavy is, of course, the 50 cal towards the front. So, and the 50 cal, like I said, I think 3 shots, pen +1. So I think you should be able to deal with the Japanese tank here. Let's see how they rated it. Damage value 8, so maybe not to the front, but sides and stuff like that. Anyway, Japanese here, so early, mid, late on this one, and then the Shinhoto Chiha is mid late. That's the upgun version. So the regular Chiha 108, 135, 162, whereas the upgunned definitely already more expensive, 124, 55, and 186 is still a bargain considering how cheap they are. So flipping them over. So Chiha, what do we got here? Tracked, no transport, damage 8 on both of them. So the short barrel light howitzer, one shot HE, and 2-inch diameter on the template there, and packing an MMG, hull mounted, but also has a rear facing one, which is an interesting feature on the Japanese tanks. Then the Shinhoto, so up gun here. So medium anti-tank gun actually, so pretty impressive. Range 60, 1 shot, pen +5. So that thing is, I think the regular Sherman is also medium. off the top of my head. I don't think those are heavy. So equal to the Sherman as far as punch, but not really going to take much in return. 1-inch HE, medium machine gun, again, the rear facing as well. So there you have it. Again, not really a review of any of this stuff as far as function and game and all that. That's for separate videos, but really neat stuff here. So you get a little bit of stuff for the Japanese, decent U.S. forces. So overall, I think another fantastic set. We get, again, plenty in the way of components here. And some neat, I think, goodies, some extras that always make it worthwhile. So again, just having these really adds to that theme of the different Pacific battles, jungle, and all that. Again, would be nice if Warlord continues to support that and just add more terrain like that, I think, so you don't have to go to third-party manufacturers on all that. But a good set there. Again, really, for being a starter, again, you get plenty for each side. Easy to split this with a friend. Everybody gets 20 infantry. Now, again, the Japanese player might seem like, and maybe rightfully so, that they're getting the slightly better deal there just for, again, having an actual tank. But, and the U.S. at least still gets that half track. What would be some substitutions for the half track? I mean, could have been nice to have the Stuart, but I feel like the Stuart would just most times wreck the Chiha. Certainly the earlier version of the Chiha. But that would have been maybe nice to see. I'm trying to think what else the U.S. would really have that would go in there. I don't know. Hit us up in the comments on that, guys. Is the half track the best choice here for the U.S. Marine side? Let us know. But again, great set. So again, plenty of infantry for everybody. Everybody gets a vehicle. We get some special terrain. All the dice and everything that we might need. Decals, assembly guide, all that good stuff. The again, the guide here, really nice. So if you're brand new, really, I think a good job here on doing that. I think I like that they break it down by turn structure, and again, very basic here. I think taking the approach of some other games out there where they'll do something similar, but sort of breaking it down by, game one is, maybe like just a small squad versus a small squad, and then you gradually build up to bigger games that use more components from the box until you really start running all the rules or most of the rules that are there. So, but again, that could be an update for a future edition or something like that. This, in and of itself, is a great box. And again, just some minor things that were worth considering for future sets that Warlord could incorporate there. Again, we talked about doing some different things with the packaging, maybe adding some other unique tokens or something like that. And beyond that, maybe just again improving some of the protection for some of the components there. So specifically the rulebook, so that the cover isn't getting dinged up. But that might not be in everyone's set, but just something I noticed. And again, hit us up in the comments, guys, if your U.S. Marine plastic infantry also was just really heavy on the mold lines, or maybe we just got a bad batch there, but that's pretty thick on like literally every single one of them across the 3 or 4 sprues it was. But anyway, that about wraps it up for us, guys. So again, this is now wrapping up our look here at the more recent Pacific Theater releases. We've looked at the campaign book a while back. We need to start circling around and start reviewing some of the more individual missions and stuff in these campaign books. So there's a lot more bolt action to come. So stay tuned on that, and we'll be slowly working on finishing our regular U.S. forces, and then eventually moving on to our U.S. Marines here. So, and then hopefully getting you guys some games before the year is out. But anyway, stay safe out there, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Hit us up in the comments, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Check us out in the description as well. Head over to the Warlord from that link and support the channel. Take care, guys.